Hi there! You're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're meeting in the greenhouse in the backyard, and we're gonna transplant a flowering maple. That is this plant that's right behind me. You can see the chandelier, and behind that there's these coral colored flowers. That's a flowering maple, otherwise called an albuton? 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 I don't know. I'll put the name on the screen for you. It is considered a tender perennial in zones 9 through 11. I have not tried growing it here on the Oregon coast into the zone 9A yet until this year. I did try growing it a couple of times when I lived in Portland, which is a lower zone but higher temperatures, and I could not hardly get it to grow at all, and it definitely died like the second it was like a chill in the air. And here I didn't attempt trying to grow it because I don't get very hot, and it does like a lot of heat. So typically a zone 9 through 11 is like, think, California or Florida, like really hot states or areas. I mean, I know not everybody gets a USDA zone because we're worldwide, but you can look up the USDA zones and see when the first and last frost date is and do the calculations for your area to determine what zone you may be in. I don't adhere to zones super hard because of our microclimates, and I have a lot of challenges trying to grow certain plants in a zone 9A on the Oregon coast that somebody in a hotter region might not have a challenge with. Anyway, we decided since we built our greenhouse, we would try growing the flowering maple again. It has not disappointed. It has been blooming for months on end. It's absolutely beautiful, but it has gotten quite tall and leggy. It is also just sucking up the water. We like pour water on it and it doesn't even come out the bottom. It just sucks up, and we do it like 3 to 5 times before we finally start seeing water coming out into the saucer. So I know that it's time to give her a little bit more room to grow, a little bit more food to eat, and more soil to like keep moist around her roots. So that's what we're gonna do today. I picked up a larger, made to look like terracotta pot. This is plastic. It's got nice big drain holes. I've got compost here, and it is recommended to put compost at the bottom of this particular plant, although I am in practice of putting compost on the bottom third of all of my containers. And then I've got just raised bed soil mix because it is outside and we are watering it more than we would other containers. I think it'll be fine. Sometimes I add perlite into a raised bed mix for a container, but in this case I think we're gonna be fine. Yeah, let's just get into it. So here she is, just absolutely beautiful. I decided to grab a small amount of landscape fabric because the holes are quite large. I just want to make sure that the soil doesn't just drop out of the container. So I'm just covering up the holes. And the landscape fabric is totally porous, so the water will drain right through it. Okay, so there's the compost in there. And there's the soil. I'm gonna make a well in here the size of, okay, so I'm gonna carefully try to take this out. I'm scared. This one is. I'm gonna take out this stake. I just show you that the roots are coming out the bottom there. I grabbed my hori hori because it's flat, hoping that's be helpful getting all the way down there. Okay. Quite ready to have some space. right, well, we got that done. It was a little scary because the stems can be really tender, and ideally you want to maybe cut them down and help them branch a little stronger in the fall or early spring. But I knew that I couldn't make it suffer any longer. Like, we have another maybe 6 weeks or more before we really start feeling the fall weather, even though it's raining today, and that's why I'm in the greenhouse. It's a good opportunity to be in here. But it's not like gonna cool off and go into those frosty temperatures for another 6 weeks or so. And I didn't want to make it suffer. It's dropping leaves like crazy because it's just not getting enough nutrition. So I think she's going to be really happy in there. And you saw how root bound she was. She's going to like be able to spread out and live in that container. I'm going to do a little bit more research and see if I could keep her in the greenhouse over winter, or if I need to bring her in the house and treat her like a more like a euphorbia, like a poinsettia. I did successfully over summer my poinsettia. It's starting to get new little leaves. I'll show you that in a video soon. It's in my dining room, so we're not gonna go in there. But yeah, it's looking great. And while I'm out here, I have some dried straw flowers that I picked and dried. And I did leave some stems on them, so now I'm seeing like the stems are kind of not worth keeping. My understanding is, okay, I'll just cut off the stem. And my understanding is you can take a needle and thread or fishing wire and thread them through the stalk to use. This one was a little bit more open than I like it to be, and you could see kind of like the discoloration of the middle piece. So live and learn. I've got my little crab rope basket here, and we're just gonna put all of these dried flowers in them. This one is not too bad, even though it's colored up in the middle. And you can see this one is pretty much perfect. This one's really nice too. I also dried the flamingo celosia. It doesn't hold the bottom pale pink as well, and then the really bright magenta just fades. I don't know if I would grow them for a dried flower again. And kind of the same thing, the stem is really weak. So I would dry the straw flowers again though. When I harvest them at the right time, they are just super fun. right, so then the last thing I'm gonna do is harvest my peppers, and I have 1 tomato that we can harvest. So these are my pepper plants. This is the Anaheim pepper. We've got 2 on here. Don't want to cut the stem. Let's see. That might get a pepper. Might get a pepper. Waiting for this pepper to grow. These peppers. How do they grow this way? Strange. Let this one get a little bit bigger.
That looks amazing.
Well, there we go. We've had 3 tomatoes on this plant so far, and they're all relatively small. I don't remember what one it is. Early Girl. So I was expecting them to be a lot bigger. I also didn't prune it, so maybe that's part of it. It struggled and was really thin and straggly for quite a while, and you can see it's still quite thin. It's not a very bushy tomato bush. But I did get red tomatoes off of it, so I'm happy enough. A quick peek at my absolute favorite living flower arrangement this year with the feverfew and the dreadlock amaranth. It's just like a chandelier of flowers. So pretty. These amaranth need just a little bit more time to dry hanging like this to keep their shape before I take them in to hang on our dried flower rack. We replanted this today. It looks so good in this. It's so much more proportioned in the new pot. I put a drip tray down there. Yeah, it looks so much better. I think it's gonna do really well. Now I need to find a new plant for my terracotta pot. I also didn't plant up these ones this year. I don't know. Maybe not this year. Maybe I'll do it next year. We have some Lysianthus. It's actually got some height on it. I have been growing this from seed since January. I just don't know if it's worth doing ever again. She has some little mushroom friends. This is all of the dried flowers, or the straw flower dried flowers that we have picked so far. And I just stuck them in this little basket. Super cute, super fun. And then we recently cut back this amaranth in a video, and then we cut the peppers off of here. We have one little tiny one forming on this one. This is also an Anaheim pepper, like this. And there's another one up here. And then this was the Margaret's. Just Margaret's pepper. It's like a bell pepper. So I cut 2 of those off, and then I'm leaving this one on to keep developing. So this is our little veggie harvest today. 4 peppers and a little tiny tomato. But it's totally ripe, so it's not like you could leave it on there and let it keep getting bigger. It'll just get kind of mushy if you leave it there. Well, that was a good and productive morning in the greenhouse. We got a few things harvested, we got a plant transplanted, and all of our dried flowers sort of sorted out. And yeah, things are looking good in the garden this year. It's a really exciting year. I am really enjoying having a greenhouse. It has made a world of difference. I get to grow a plant that I've never been successful growing before, like the flowering maple. I have successful tomato and pepper plants, even if the tomato's a little scraggly, but I think that's really my fault. But the reason I wanted this greenhouse, which this is technically a cold frame, an elaborate cold frame, because it's not heated. It doesn't have any kind of, I mean, it has a roof panel open to help with airflow, but it doesn't have any like electronic devices that help with that. And I really, really wanted it so that I can grow in the summertime, so I could have some elevated heat for things like peppers and tomatoes. And next year I'd like to try eggplant as well. So really fun, great little space, and I'm really loving it. For those of you who are wondering, this is a Palram Canopia hybrid. So it has a different kind of panel on the roof than it does on the walls. And ideally in my climate, that corrugated opaque would be better overall to help grow things in here, but I really also needed it to be aesthetically beautiful and pleasing to the eye, because my garden is a place of sanctuary and I want to walk out here. It doesn't necessarily all have to be productive. I want to walk out here and really feel the sacredness and the beauty of gardening. And this particular greenhouse has absolutely done that for me and for my husband, and pretty much anybody who walks back here is just like, wow, what is that? It's so beautiful. And we can see it from inside of our home, and like predominant windows that we look out all the time. So in the winter it gives beautiful structure. So I'm really pleased that I chose the hybrid that has both different types of panels. And it's been productive, so it's doing its job. I'm not regretting not having, like, you know, this kind of panel everywhere. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you are celebrating your life, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.